Love Mastery Life. Today, another live video. This week, we're gonna be talking about men telling me the side of the story. My name is Ileana Sanchez, your host here in this group, Love Mastery Life, and the author of Empower Women's Guide to Dating. Here I have the book. And if you don't know, guys, I also have a workbook that goes together with the book, The Empower Women's Guide to Dating. So let's get into this super hot topic about what men are so candid to share when you know how to make them share the true stories, okay? True stories and the completely naked truth about what they really think, believe, and totally feel when they screw up. Because these true stories are not about a happy ending. This is not about how they in love they were or how wonderful their life is. This is two sad stories those kind of stories are the ones that really have helped me learn a lot about dating and relationships and human relationships in general. So I'm gonna be sharing with you these two super interesting stories. I always want to check that my volume is totally on. Okay, so the first story that I'm gonna share with you today, it's about this this guy the story about his cheating. Okay, so he told me, I'm just trying to find my group here. He told me, okay, first a little bit of background about what's going on with him and then his story, okay? He's a lawyer, he's married, and not for long. That was kind of, he told me when I met him, he was just like not even 1 year married, okay? Very, very newlywed. Not even 5 years of marriage. You can about 1 year of marriage, okay? And very successful, very confident person, very people's person, and he shared with me his struggles. Why? Because he was my coworker, okay? These two persons, there are people who share with me their stories because, you know, when you show yourself as not threatening, right? And you're just a curious person like I am. I'm very curious and I really want to understand people's lives and situations, not to judge, but to learn. Well, people really like to open up because people need to talk. People need to share this side of the story. And those two guys share with me. So, and without any filter. That's the most incredible and that is the most powerful because this helps us a lot to understand what's going on. So in his perspective, okay, he was cheating his wife. So he started to slowly telling me that he had this side girl in the office and it was nothing serious, but just to, you know, to have fun. And I was like, what? You know, kind of, I don't understand. You're happily you're just married and you're telling me that you love your wife, etc. He said, yeah, but you know, sometimes she argues a lot with me and she's kind of, you know, she has a very strong character. That was the beginning of the story when he started telling me. Of course, the story he told me in bits and pieces, and then I'm putting together everything for you. So those bits and pieces started like that, like the wife. They have a happy marriage, but sometimes they have discussions. Now, I don't think this is any reason that, okay, you be alarmed if you have a discussion with your husband or with your boyfriend or any other relationship. This should not happen. But what happens here is that his personality, okay, was making sense of the situation as that was the way for him to cope with his stress, to cope with his anxiety in the relationship. That was his own way. And what I want to share with you is that this his wife, which I knew too, which I know, he would never imagine that what he was doing. And this fascinated me because a lot of time, we think that we just can trust our instinct and just let ourselves trust that everything is fine in our relationships. And that, I think, that is a big mistake. And that, in my case, in many relationships, it happened to me, so that's why I wanted to share that with you. So I think the most important message here is that this person, okay, his character, his personality, okay, who was very confident, a very successful, good-looking person, he justified his cheating to his wife. He took it really lightly. But what I remember asking very clearly was, why are you doing it? And for him, it always came down to, we fight a lot, That was his way of coping mechanism. Now, I don't think every man, I believe 100% that not every man does that. We have a different coping mechanism. This was a problem of his personality. And this is what I'm very interested, that we need to understand how people cope with the stress, how people cope with conflict, how people cope, in this case, men, right? Of course, we are interested in men and women, but in this case, for our relationships, if we're want to be in a heterosexual relationship, we have to be very aware of how our partner is gonna cope with the stress, with anxiety, with any other issue in his life, and also with conflict in our relationship. So they both were a very, very strong character people. They have very strong personalities. They clash sometimes. Just long story short, they divorced after 10 years of experience. But honestly, this, even though you could say that's not a shocking thing, the most shocking is that she never knew that he was cheating. That was for me the most interesting, that he always kept on cheating on her, and he was always excusing his cheating because of his wife arguing, which I don't believe that was only her. I believe they were both part of the situation, part of the problem, right? As always, we are both in this situation, but in this case, it seems to be that he felt a little bit emasculated by the continued kind of controlling or argument from his wife. The most important, I don't think that we have to be looking for a relationship where we're not going to be arguing. That is impossible. That is like be looking for something impossible. Arguing is part of any relationship, and it's going to happen when you argue in a respectful manner. When you discuss things in a respectful manner, I don't think it's a problem. And sometimes you cannot avoid it. This can happen in the most wonderful relationships. Of course, the degree of how heated the things are, that depends on the quality of the relationship, right? Sometimes when I argue with my beloved significant other, we're kind of laughing, because we don't argue really. We have a wonderful relationship, thanks God, and I hope it continues like that. But you cannot avoid arguments. So just to tell you, this was his personality. So, and this is going to come to me for what I'm going to tell you, that how to identify a guy so you're not going to fall for this kind of personality, this kind of guy who might be cheating at you, okay? This story, when I just told you about this guy who openly accepted that he was cheating on his wife, but he excused it because he had arguments, and very heated arguments with his wife, because she had a very strong character. That was his excuse for him to cheat it on her, okay? So how can you avoid fall for that guy, right? That's the first thing. The other thing is, the other story is about this other guy who was deceiving his girlfriend, and they were living for 5 years. They lived together 5 years, and he told me, okay, very candid, he shared the story that how he was in love at the beginning of their relationship. During the first 2 years of their relationship, he was in love, he was happy, he was okay with her, they were living together. But by the end of year 2, he actually fell out of love. He wasn't engaged emotionally anymore in their relationship. And he just kept on the relationship. They had a house together and they were living together, and they just, stayed together. And then I asked him, why did you stay together when you didn't love her? And his answer, and that's why I said that this second story is about deception, is that deceiving her. He deceived her because he told me that he was comfortable. He felt that she was taking care of him as his mother, And how many times women, we fall for that trap when we want to do everything for a man. We are so engaged in the relationship that we want to be like a mother, right? We don't realize, but we are doing that. We are we want to nurture the person emotionally and with many other ways, right? Not just emotionally. We want to make sure that everything is in order, that everything is it's easy for him, his food, his clothing, everything, all kind of things that we women, we mostly enjoy. Most women enjoy taking care of the people we love, and this is our nurturing, very strong aspect of being a woman. And how often we do this without noticing that this is the only reason men are with us, right? I've seen this very often. Very often. I was just reading and I have a screenshot of a woman who was posting a question. Actually, she posted a long story about her relationship of 10 years, where she was, actually, the story was like, sound very much like this guy who was deceiving this girlfriend. The only difference is she's married since 10 years and she... now he's gone for 6 months, and it seems like the last years, because she's describing how their relationship was from the last 2-3 years, he was disconnected, etc. Well, it seems to be like that was something of the or it can be something else, we never know. But what amazes me is that very often times this happen, and of course it happened also for women. Women also stay with men that don't love anymore, and sometimes we don't have that crystal clear in our heads. Sometimes they have, but there are ways to avoid this, and this is what I'm most passionate about helping women. One day I would like to help men, but actually, as a woman, I feel more this empathy with women. I don't want that they feel this heartbroken moment, right? Where you feel that this person that you love very much, it's falling out of love, or this person that you maybe not love too much, but it's still breaking your heart because it's doing things that you don't even imagine it's doing. So how can you avoid falling for a wrong relationship? How can you avoid falling for a dead-end relationship for someone you don't even want to be there? You don't want to be the worst, of course, and the clearest reason you are in a bad relationship is when you're being abused, when you're being manipulated. But oftentimes, manipulation is very subtle, and sometimes you don't even realize you're being manipulated. Narcissists, they exist, and mostly, and this is scientific research, and you can Google it, you can see that men are in higher numbers narcissists. They are more male narcissists than women narcissists. Okay, so this is very dangerous when we let ourselves just, I'm gonna go with the flow, I'm gonna just trust my instinct and my gut feeling. Unfortunately, this is not enough. And why? Because again, science is telling us about the biochemistry of how relationships or how love works. Love has a reason to exist, right? This is for reproductive reasons, right? We have to fall in love, we have to feel attracted, we have to feel lust for someone, we have to reproduce. This is just the biology of how human beings are supposed to continue on Earth. And then love gets into the mix, and then chemistry and biology is taking over, especially in women, men also, but when men are narcissistic abusers, they're manipulative and they have a different agenda than yourself, you can easily fall for the wrong guy. Okay, now these two examples what I gave you, that's why I found them very interesting, because they are not the typical guy who wants to abuse you, but they at the end abuse their partners because of their personalities, because of their agendas, because of their maturity, because of who they are, their values, etc. So how do you avoid falling for those guys? I am here to tell you that there is possible. There's a very good chance that you can avoid it. I am the living example of that. I was in many bad relationships, dead-end relationships, where I was really doing a lot of, not doing, but I'm living in very bad relationships for long periods of time, for years and years and years. It was really very, very bad. My life I couldn't take off in my life because our relationships are so important for our flourishing. So just to finish with this, you can avoid falling for a bad relationship when you know how. And for the next year, I'm preparing a full program where I'm going to share with you how you can select a partner for life. And you're going to fall in love for the right reasons. You're going to attract the right guy. You're going to attract true love, completely eliminate the confusion, and thrive in your relationships. This is going to be in 2020. I'm going to put the link, so if you're interested, just to get information, not to sign in for anything, just to get information, I'm going to put the link here. You just sign in, you're in the list, and you're going to be the first one. And the people who get in the list, of course, I'm going to be something super important, super duper. So the program is called How to Select the Right Partner for Life, and I already have a program, a little tiny program, but this one that I'm preparing for 2020 is going to be improved. Not that it's going to be longer, it's going to be just improved, because when the first program I did, I put just 5 questions and I didn't include the characteristics, the traits of the winner and the winner illusion. So the guys that you want to try, the guys that you want to avoid. All that is in my book, but of course when I'm going to create a program, I'm going to be really giving you something super easy to digest, and it's not going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, darling, Ciliana Sanchez here in Love Master Life, author of The Empowered Woman's Guide to Dating. You can get it on Amazon, or you can visit my website. So if you are more interested in more, go to my website and sign in for the How to Select the Right Partner for Life, or just get a free PDF on how to select the right relationship. 3 steps, 3 proven strategies actually. You can get all this for free. So ladies, see you next week with another live video and very interesting topic. Bye.